so hopefully this time around it'll be better.
Welcome once again to Mearachd, episode 2. We rejoin the party very early into their first year at university. So, what happened last week?
Trying to help everyone not look disgusting.
So, we got grouped up as a party last week, and our first assignment was to do a paper either on why we are not the deadweight or what we're going to do to manage the deadweight. Actually, that was our second assignment. The first assignment was we were supposed to give a group presentation. So we were basically going to present on something that was we're interested in. And
Close. You were presenting on something you were interested in. You were presenting on... Whitney, do you remember, since you have your hand up like this is class?
I was trying to follow our university rules.
This university does not have hands up rules.
Well, I was going to start from the beginning because I have a horrifying page long of notes. But
Horrifying?
yeah.
Mine are way more horrifying than
I have
yours.
everybody's height. And their full names.
There
and
are
the
2
correct
full pages of
spellings.
notes. There are 3 full pages of
What
notes.
weird bullet points.
This is the most notes I've ever seen about any of my games ever.
So Percival.
Don't worry, I didn't
real
take
name.
it.
As expected.
Percival, the stuck-up boy, wears silken ceremonial armor because he's ridiculous.
Okay, I only need what happened last session, not...
No, we gave our descriptions last session.
Okay.
So I'll skip that. That's fine. Party
for an
theory.
We got the
Overview.
important one.
Party theory is the class that we're in. Party studies will be next. We all show up early. Erasmus is super early. Trent is sad that there aren't any parties happening. The professor puts us all together for our 8-week-long class Niev. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how I say your name?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, sorry.
As Niev had mentioned, the assignment was first identifying deadweight, and then we had to research a topic we're interested in and explain it to our party, and then people had to be quizzed about what we taught them. We went to the Mearachd library, which is one of the largest in the world. I have the topics that everybody presented on. Compost, which was pretty cool. We got beds at the community garden. Well, Nikolai and Niev did. Trent had artists draw us and gave it to us, and it was offensive. And then we had to write a 3-page paper about how we can improve the deadweight of the group. Trent brought us to his tailor and got us new outfits and haircuts, and I got a massage, and people got grades, and then since Erasmus, he got an A initially, but then Niev ratted him out for writing Trent's paper, so then he got an F.
All
That was
right.
pretty much it, yeah.
Well, again, still not explaining the first lesson. The first lesson is you write a paper about somebody else's interests.
Oh, I had it down in my notes as individually research our favorite topic.
You do individually research your favorite topic, and then you explain to the group why that's your favorite thing, and then the group proves that they can retain information by presenting that information to somebody
That's
else.
what I said. We didn't write a paper on it. We just researched it and then taught
Right.
our group. We got that, dude.
Not in the way that it actually happened. Logistics
That's-
are important.
That's logistically what I said. We went to the library, researched it, taught it to our group, and then they had to regurgitate it.
I hear you say that.
Like-
Yeah, well,
Like
your
a mama
listening
bird to her
skills-
little babies.
listening skills could use some.
I think communications could be our next class.
No, clearly not mine. All right, so, after Erasmus gets his poor grade, he's gonna be in some pretty crummy spirits. And Nikolai, you'll actively have to deal with it for a little while. Probably so much so that I don't know, do you think you would continue to stay in the room if he's just gonna be grumpy and a grouch for the rest of the day?
No skin off my back.
Okay. What does Nikolai do in his free time?
Well, I need to get my garden growing so I can have fruit and vegetables for my smoothies.
Okay.
I gotta learn how to use the compost.
And what is this composting plan? I've heard talk about how important composting is.
Niev's got that one.
So Niev basically is accepting like anybody's scraps, like vegetable, fruit scraps, anything like that. And she has a small bin that she is keeping them in. And so she's got like, actually, I guess a couple of bins. Like one is the one that she's currently filling up and stirring and all of that. And one's more like a finished product.
Okay. What do you do about all the stuff that gets put in there by people who just assume it's a garbage bin?
Well, that's the thing is she would probably be keeping it in her room or something like that instead of having it out where anyone would just throw something away in it.
But how are you collecting these donations? Is it just from the party or is it from people outside of the party?
Well, I would say that mostly it's going to be just from the party, but she might have made like a sign or something, saying any table scraps, please donate, to Niev or something like that,
Okay, so how are you helping people know the difference between what is just their random trash and what is the actual stuff that can be composted?
She would have, and on her sign, it would have been like something like table scraps wanted, and then she would have like, plant matter, eggshells. Like she would have listed out like the things that she's looking for her compost, basically.
Okay.
And basically underneath that, maybe like a thing like, please knock, and if we're here, we'll accept them. Otherwise, come back later, or you can do what you want to, I guess.
Okay. Periodically, then, I think you're going to come back to find, like, little piles of, like, garbage that are left in front of your door. Because at the end of the day, lots of people don't know, and giving people a list doesn't necessarily mean you're always going to get the right thing. And so, Constog, periodically, you coming to the room as well. There's just going to be little piles of stuff waiting there. After a while, though, you'll get a visit from a couple of people. These are other people that have like little animals with them. One has a what looks to be like a young lion cub. Another one has like another little pet wolf, kind of like you do. And these two come up to your room and knock at the door.
So Niev will go and answer the door. Hello, do you have donations for me? That's what she's assuming.
No. So I should warn you ahead of time, because I tried to do this little thing last year. It's gonna get pretty messy. We tried to set up a whole composting thing. We thought our room would be a good idea at first, and then, well, it sort of turned into a garbage dumpster, and then we tried to set up some things outside. But I should warn you, the dean gets rather upset if you start putting out bins that aren't part of the bins for the school. And then we thought we would petition for getting some bins put out, but unfortunately, the dean didn't really understand why we would need different bins from the bins that were already there. It's good to see more people are interested in it. I know that when we started here, there was a couple of people that were near the end of their time here that were doing it. Maybe there's a chance we can get the petition going again, but I just wanted to warn you that this could end in a really unfortunate way. Nothing smells worse than coming back to a room utterly covered in garbage.
Oh, thank you for the warning. Is there like maybe a gardening or recycling club or something like that? Maybe we could start that, we could get all the like-minded people together to manage it.
There is a sort of, it's not really a gardening club. Everybody who's taken a plot kind of agrees to take care of things, but the problem we have is that the dean is not excited about the idea of having, again, different bins. He's really adamant about the whole bin thing being a problem. So we sort of just pile things up, but that's not very efficient for composting. It's more like a trash pile, and then he'll have the janitorial staff come through and just throw it all away, and then we've lost all of our composting and have to start again. In fact, if you let this pile up for long enough, you'll find that the dean will probably leave a note on your door about how you can't have these messes outside of your room. It does get a little frustrating at times. We're just trying to make things better, and the dean seems adamantly against the idea of it being better.
That's really surprising too, considering that, our efforts would help all of the gardens and all of the food that's grown, including what they grow for us to eat here.
I agree.
Well, I'll be happy to sign a petition or help get signatures, whatever.
That would be most wonderful. Perhaps with more of us working on the petition, we might get something much better accomplished.
Sounds good.
I'll go back. We have one of our friends is a very accomplished person working in political studies, and I think they might be able to draft us up something that maybe with enough signatures we might be able to get approved. Hopefully this will be the year that we accomplish this.
I'm excited to work on it. I hope so too.
Excellent. I'm Rosalia.
Nice to meet you. I'm Niev.
And this is Ira.
Nice to meet you.
Hello.
I'm Niev, and then my roommate is actually my sister, Constag.
Hello. I need to make sure I put down both their names correctly.
Ira is the lion.
Ira is the lion. Rosalia is the lion. Ira is the wolf. And it should be Iria. I'm gonna trip over that a lot.
Is it like E?
Iria.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, it was very nice to meet you, and I appreciate the heads up, and hopefully we can get this sorted.
I should let you know that getting this done will be a little bit difficult. I hope you're ready to get your clipboard and pens ready, and to be disappointed repeatedly by people who think there's already enough trash bins around.
I hope that I can bring my particular talents. I'm usually pretty persuasive.
That's good. We're not so much. We're here largely in the hopes that eventually we can head back to our camp, but in the meantime, we're stuck here having to learn some of the trade. It's very interesting that they send people here to learn secrets of farming, and I don't understand why we have to take that weird party theory class. This is your first year, right?
Yeah, and actually I'm in that class myself.
Yes, it's a rough class, but you'll meet a lot of people that are surprisingly that might be of surprising benefit to you. What are your goals in being here?
Well, I'm actually from a tribe of druids, and normally we don't, associate with people outside of our, little community, but the elders recently have decided that, perhaps there is some value in, some outside learning. So I'm kind of like a test subject. I'm a little bit of, they're trying to see if they send me and my sister to be educated, if it makes us stronger as a community versus how, things are normally handled, which is we all educate our own.
That's a very interesting perspective. What end goal do they have? Like, what is their metric that they're using to determine success?
I'm not entirely sure, but I know that they have plenty of results from how things have been done always, traditionally. What I think they're hoping that we get out of it, and what I'm hoping that I get out of it is, when there are problems that arise, maybe I have a different perspective on how to handle them than most of the others in our community. One of the downfalls of having such an insular society is that we just, tend to have a lot of groupthink and a lot of, just sort of the same, reaction to the same ideas and that kind of thing.
So, like the reason they send us out to learn the farm stuff, it's largely about perspective and having fresh ideas and potentially something more learned, that rather than just something that is what has been drummed up for the last several eons.
Exactly, yes.
Well, I hope it does well for you. I know that for us, it's been a very unique experience and has helped our community in an unexpected way. So I hope it can do the same for yours.
Thank you. Your second years?
Yes, this is our second year.
Wonderful. I am glad to have someone to look up to.
Thank you. I do notice, though, that your friend seems to be very similar to mine. They don't necessarily open up after the second year.
Well, I mean, Constog always is welcome to speak for herself, but sometimes she prefers to observe rather than do the talking.
Yes, there tends to be a lot of intellect behind that observation, but sometimes it can lead to quite a bit of trouble in certain positions. You may find that it affects their papers or presentation. Well, it usually never affects the papers, but definitely the presentation part of the party participation. I hope that doesn't impede upon you. I know that Iria here did a impressive job after a bit of time and sort of getting broken of that fear. Hopefully you don't have too many of those types in your group. We had a particularly argumentative dwarven person in our group that just would not shut up about stone. And at first we thought they were the deadweight, because they had a lot of like religious background and didn't really have any interest in doing much other than healing. But it wasn't long before we realized the sneaky little skinny guy in our group that, well, he claimed he was all about helping out in situations that could be more dangerous or situations that required more finesse. I assured you most of the time he spent in the back trying to sneak extra coins from here and there, extra snacks from out of the lunchroom, or the what do you call that again? The cafeteria.
Well, I do know sometimes it's the quiet ones you have to watch out for. I'm not referring to my sister, of course, but I'm just saying sometimes it's the ones that are good at misdirecting that you have to watch out for.
Well, I look forward to speaking to you again soon. We've got to get back at our things, but it's very nice to meet you both.
Very nice to meet you too. And at that, Nia will actually take down her little sign because she doesn't want to cause trouble or, get in trouble.
Mm-hmm. So let's jump over to Trent. What does Trent do around the school to pass the time.
Okay, so right now he has a somewhat long-term goal of throwing the greatest party the university has ever seen. But something he could do right now in the short term is start working on a potential guest list. So I would be kind of trying to figure out who the elite socially members of the school essentially, or the university essentially are. Just like the top tier people for potential invites.
Okay.
To increase my status and whatnot.
Absolutely.
Or that. So I would kind of, be. I don't know, maybe something like chilling in the cafeteria, watching. So wherever people tend to gather.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you can do it in a number of places. Like you'll spend some time roaming about the yards, maybe jump in the cafeteria at the right times. Wander the hallways a little bit, areas where you see more higher populations of people. You'll kind of start making that gathering. And give me a knowledge nobility as you're kind of doing your research here. Ooh. So for the first little while, it's been a bit rough going. There isn't a lot of... One of the things that you notice is there tends to be a lot of people that are either nose deep in studies, or the halls seem to be rather well controlled. People don't normally do a lot of activities, or things don't get too busy. And when things are busy, there's usually some thing about it, there's some sign or something that's there. But you will come to find out, at the very least with that, about a gentleman by the name of... any of those? Of Agnar. Agnar Armundson. Agnar is in his 5th year here at the university. He seems to spend a lot of his time just taking various classes. He is supposedly someone who has multiple times been eligible to graduate, but goes on to learn about other things, and has actually multiple not accreditations, multiple certifications and awards, and another not like Heather. A lot of people around here tend to flock to him because he's almost like a wealth of knowledge, not only about about a lot of various subjects, but also a lot about the campus. And so many people, including some of the staff, will come up to him at times to get information about either something relative to one of the classes they're taking, or something about the campus that they might need more details about.
What kind of character, creature is he?
He is an elf. He stands about 6'2". He is rather well built for an elf. He looks like he probably does a lot, at least some moderate amount of either exercise or maybe lifting, or maybe some combination of the two. Because he looks pretty fit. But he also seems to have a book at his side at all times. And anytime he's not being bothered by somebody, you can find that he's got it held out in his hand while he's wandering about the halls, glancing back and forth between reading a few lines and then checking to make sure he's not bumping into anybody.
All right. And how fashionable is he?
Oh, he's always reasonably well dressed. You give me another knowledge nobility here to compare some notes. Yeah, so he is dressed in what you would know to be like some of the most expensive clothing that can be found. There aren't a lot of places that you can get very high-end stuff around here, so he must be having somebody like specifically bring things into the university to get the clothing that he's got. Because most of it is you kind of know this as you came out here, because this was one of the things that you probably had some small concerns about, is that getting clothing from outside of the university is a little bit difficult, especially the fancier clothing. Like, clothing gets brought in here, but it's usually like, common stuff, more like more normal stuff. There's not always a lot of money here because this university doesn't exactly have it doesn't have a cost associated with it. People are brought in here based on either the people that you know or somebody seeing potential value in having you brought in. So this is the kind of area that doesn't necessarily cater to high levels of affluence. And so to get the kind of clothing that he has is quite a feat.
All right. Yes, so is there a typical spot that he like normally is found at, or?
Yes, you can usually find him. There's a pretty big open like entryway when you're coming into the east entrance, and he is usually like reading around there. It has like a very large kind of glass dome ceiling that lets in a lot of light, and he tends to like rest himself in such a way that he's leaned up against a wall. Usually, when he's at his highest points of reading, he'll be in there kind of nose deep in a book. But still glancing up every once in a while just to see if anybody's approached.
Right, and have I heard of the Arminston family, or?
They are not native to anywhere that, because you're from Krizeisen, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you would have no knowledge of the Arminston family.
Yes, so, I would, kind of listen in on maybe some of the questions people are asking him, kind of figure out what sort of things they might be talking about with him.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a perception. Okay. So you're kind of hanging out in the area, listening periodically. You sit on one of the benches for a little while, listening in to what he talks about. There's a lot of stuff. Like the gamut of stuff is pretty wide. There's talk about where to buy certain things, what the best food is, like what the best route is to get from one place to another, like a wide variety of questions about different classes and what's good and what professors to have. It seems like this person has like a near infinite amount of storage space for just information in their head, and that kind of makes him the epicenter. But he seems to be pretty like well capable of handling all of these conversations that are thrown in, and it's pretty regular. Like normally somebody this interested in a book does not tend to be like as excited to have this many people come wandering up to them and interrupt it. But he takes it in stride. He kind of like lowers the book down. He'll wait like a moment, finish whatever he's reading, lower the book down, and then, greet them, answer the questions for them. And one of the things that you will discover is that he does get asked about, like, hey, what do people do around here for fun? And you will hear that there is something that people refer to as the party club. But you will hear that it is by invitation only. And then, of course, people will ask him if they can get an invitation from him, and he'll, like, chuckle a little bit and say, I'm sorry, that it has very specific rules for who we're allowed to invite. And as much as you might be a nice person, it'll take some time for us to figure that out.
Party Club Secret Society.
Not secret per se. It's not really secret if everybody knows about it, but no one really knows how to get in. All right, let's let you stew on that, and let's jump back to Nikolai. Presumably, he's out tending his little plot. Sorry, you guys refer to them as beds?
Community garden bed.
You're out there, being big and sort of like naturally intimidating is this like big orcish guy, like standing huge around, digging up holes, watering plants. There's a few people like, wandering about that kind of give you a bit of distance. But there is one little person in particular that makes their way over to you. You've seen them like from time to time throughout the garden. They don't seem to do any gardening themselves, but they are always like talking to people, asking them what they're working on growing, and offering them some like either special fertilizers or like some of the extra like leftover refuse they have from meals they've had, or like scraps. And eventually one day they'll finally kind of make their way over to you. They seem a little bit sheepish as they come over to you. Hello. Hi.
Hey there, little fella, lady.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Hey there, little friend.
Hi.
What's up?
I was wondering what you working on? What you growing?
Growing fruits and veggies for my smoothie. So I got some carrots
Smoothies.
and some strawberries and some kale.
Their eyes light up at just you saying the word smoothie, and like their mouth starts watering at the listing of all these things.
You like smoothies?
I love smoothies. They're
They're
so
the
good.
best, eh?
Yes. Do you have a smoothie now?
I'm in the garden, buddy.
Hey, I mean, you don't keep things on you? And he like, they reach down and they pull out a banana from their pocket and like start opening it up.
I mean, smoothies don't usually keep super well in pockets and stuff.
Oh, you don't have any chili pockets?
No.
I saw this wizard once that had this chili pocket. They pulled this thing out and it was cold. And it was so neat. I wanted
That's
chili
pretty-
pockets so bad.
That's pretty impressive. Are you here gardening?
No, I like to see what people are gardening. It makes me happy to see all these people growing delicious things. And sometimes they'll let me taste them. They're so yummy.
Oh, so you're here to try and find treats?
No. Some people offer me treats. I don't ask for them.
What's your name?
I am... Loading name.
You didn't think that question was coming, huh?
This entire encounter was not potentially coming. This is all.
That's from the ancient Latin name family.
My name is Hadhup.
What?
Hadhup.
Hadhup?
Hadhup.
Hadhup?
Hadhup. Hadhup.
Okay. Do you go to school here?
Yeah, I definitely go to school here. This place is great. I'm learning about all sorts of different kinds of food, and one day I plan to be the best chef this country has ever seen.
Yeah?
Yes, food is delicious, and it's fun to learn the different ways you can mix food together.
Yeah, well, it's really important because that's how you keep your mind and your body healthy.
Exactly. What's your favorite food?
Probably raspberries.
Ooh, raspberries are okay.
I think they're delightful.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that do.
And kiwi.
Kiwi
I like the
is
little
yummy.
seeds in them.
I like the kiwi seeds too. I like all the kiwis. The kiwi fruit, the kiwi bird, both very delicious.
No, I think it's better to be plant-based.
I can understand that.
If you have any scraps left over from all your cooking, my this girl in my group does some composting. She could take them from you.
Oh, I'll drop them off.
Yeah,
Where-
just drop them off only when she's there. Don't leave crap at her door, please.
Okay. There were some other people that were like, you know, they lived out in like farms or something, and they tried to have like the garbage the same way, drop it off at their door, and then the dean got really upset when they were trying to put up bins. I don't understand why bins are a problem. You know?
I don't know either. That seems kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, you know, he's a bit old and kind of a fuddy-duddy. It's a fun word, isn't it, fuddy-duddy?
Yeah, kind of like hut up.
Yeah, my name is really fun.
How old are you?
I am 19. Why?
That's the biggest you're gonna get, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
What's wrong
okay.
with my size?
Nothing wrong. Just curious. You're so tiny.
My mom says I was a healthy goblin.
Yeah,
Good
I mean, it looks like you
size,
could fit in
good
my
shape.
pocket.
I probably could. Can we try it?
It's
Could we
not a
try?
chilled pocket, though.
That's okay.
Okay, come here.
Alright. They climb up your leg. I gotta stop saying he, because I have not really decided, and I feel like this character hasn't really decided on a gender. They climb up into your pocket, and they're like trying to fit themselves in. Your pocket is like not quite that big. It's impressively large, but like they can definitely kind of hang on the side of your thigh, and it's like almost not at all of any sort of impact to you. You could probably garden just fine with this thing hanging off of you. It's, you know, like carrying a light bag. This is fun.
Do you want to help me dig some new holes?
Sure.
I guess my tools are like half your size, though.
I use my hands.
Great.
All right.
Well, I need holes over in that corner, like 2 inches apart, about 6 inches deep.
Ooh, I'm not good at distance.
How about I put in little flags so you can see where to put them?
Oh, good idea. I can't dig for too long though. I gotta go cook some food later.
Okay. What's your specialty?
Ooh, I don't know. I've been trying a lot of things and I can't quite find what I like best.
It seems you like a lot of things.
I love lots of things. Food is
So
great.
happy.
Why not be happy?
It's not really that easy for a lot of people.
I get to be here and I get to try out lots of cooking. People teach me about how to cook and how not to cook and what is a good ingredient, what is a bad ingredient. You know what's a deceptive ingredient? Allspice. It's not what you think it is.
It's not all spices. Eh?
It's not all spices. It doesn't even taste like any spices It tastes like different.
It tastes like it should be in a pie.
It weirdly does. Like nutmeg.
Yeah, or like in a cider or something.
Yeah. Ooh, cider. You like ciders?
Mm?
Ooh, I know where some good cider is.
Where's that?
I bring it to you next time I see you. You could try some cider.
Do you make it?
No, my family makes it.
Do you live with your family?
No, I live here on campus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's nice. It's quiet. Not like at home. Lots of noises all the time. Everybody making noises. So quiet here. So peaceful. Nobody coming around talking to you for like a long time about things you don't care about.
No, not so much. All right, well, I gotta get back to gardening.
I'm gonna help, remember?
You said you had to get going to make food.
In a little bit. I'll help.
Okay.
All right, Hudhup will talk the entire time.
I'm gonna turn down my ear volume.
And how about Constog? What is Constog doing in her free time? I assume she isn't just following around Niev the entire time.
No, she's doing some writing, some note taking.
What is she writing about and taking notes on?
Well, the conversation was going on. She was taking notes about Niam's new friends, and now she's writing about how a bunch of dryads saved the school using composting.
I found this one notebook. It just says jerk, 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 and it's got like a picture of Trent.
Oh, don't worry about that. That's totally not mine. Don't worry about it. If you could please hide that under the carpet. For no particular reason, of course.
Does Constog tend to spend a lot of time in the room, not really going out unless Niev goes out, or does she go out at all on her own?
She sometimes heads to the library.
Okay.
Look up stuff.
Okay. It's likely then that during one of your trips to the library, if this is sort of a regular thing that you do, you would end up running into. Hold on. Let me take a look at some of your knowledges real quick. There's a couple of people you could run into here. What do you think you probably research the most?
Nature.
Okay. So give me a knowledge nature. Okay. So you're going through a few different books, and as you're doing so, there's another, kind of, short, probably halfling person that, as you're, pulling a book off the shelf, they kind of lean and go, you don't want that one.
Uh-huh.
That's a bad book. Doesn't really get anywhere. Pick this one. It's the same book. And he hands you a book. It's the same book, but just much, much easier to read. The information's laid out a lot better. Just better book all the way around.
Oh. Well, thanks, I suppose.
You're welcome. I do hate the way this section is. It's such a mess all the time. I never quite am able to keep it in proper order, and everybody keeps coming around and thinking this section's about something different. They all seem to think it's some weight loss section. What book can I read that will help me find the right diet for my... No, that's not what this is! Herbalism and nature are not the same thing as diet. They can be helpful, but they're not the same thing.
You seem very opinionated on this.
I have to deal with this a lot. I attend to this section as part of my studies, and it gets very messy People put back books because they don't understand the title and they don't realize how the categorization system works. So they'll just throw a book on the shelf over here, and this shelf is about like animals that are the kind of animals that you shouldn't eat, and they're putting a book on there that's about animals you should eat. It's very annoying having to like move all these books around that people just don't care about and they misunderstand. Like the book about what animals you can't eat is a book to sort of save your life, not a book to determine like what your health should be about. But people don't care. They just put books everywhere. Books everywhere and everywhere and everywhere. Anyway, sorry, I shouldn't just be complaining. You look like you're studying for something big. Are you doing like some kind of herbalism class?
No, not really.
Then why such the interest? I've seen you in here a couple of times.
Well, I guess I could say I have a personal project I'm working on.
Interesting. Well, I hope it all goes well. If you ever need anything, I handle this section pretty efficiently, so I know where most of the things are. And I'll be around if you ever like have trouble finding a book, or you might might just have a question or two about something in this section. I've read probably most of these books.
Oh, all right, thanks.
You're quite welcome. And he will go back to his work. All right, let's go ahead and take a short break. And we'll be back.